Ominous, are you sure about this?
Yes, this is more important than some family pride. I want us all to be safe. I can't tribute much, but I at least can offer you a place no one else knows about. A place where we can meet up safely.
Thank you, Ominous. I vow that we will treat the Undercroft with all due respect. I'll make Natty and Poppy promise to keep it a secret.
I'm still not too happy with the situation, though.
I agree. There are quite a few things that could go wrong.
Such as Sebastian finding out you are still keeping the fact Rookwood is responsible for cursing his sister from him. When are you planning to tell him? Perhaps the night of the Yule Ball? I'm not an expert, but a revelation like that surely will ruin your date. I'm very sorry, Marion. That was incredibly uncalled for. I apologize.
I know you're right. Fine. I will tell him by the end of the week. Please remind me again if I don't. Ominous, just for your understanding, it's not a date. The Yule Ball, I mean. We're going just as friends.
Please, don't feel obliged to explain yourself. I apologize if I appeared judgmental in any way. It never was my intention to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm afraid I can't stay around longer. Or would you like me to escort you back outside?
Always the gentleman. What are you up to? If you don't mind, perhaps I could join in.
Of course. I'm afraid it might bore you, though. I need to run some errands before returning to the castle to get some assignments done.
Boring sounds wonderful. Let's go. What kind of book do you need? You do know Hogwarts has a library full of them, don't you?
Obviously I do, but the choices concerning books on muggles or even muggle books are very slim, if not to say non-existent.
Right, you mentioned that. Another Muggle studies assignment? What subject area are you treating this time? Can openers, mousetraps, or maybe even Edison's fuse?
None of the above. He assigned me to pick a muggle fairy tale and write a 20-inch essay about it. I checked every single shelf in the library. There are hardly any books on wizard fairy tales, let alone one about muggle ones. Tomes is my last hope.
He's not. I am. You're lucky your favourite Slytherin girl is a Muggle-born. I just so happen to have a book with Muggle fairy tales up in my dorm. I took it along with some other books from the cottage. Fig left me with a lot of books, half of them Muggle ones. It's a first edition from 1850. But, there's a hitch. It's written in French.
Well, that doesn't pose a problem.
You speak French?
I wouldn't say I speak it, but I think my knowledge of it will be enough to read and understand a simple fairy tale.
Okay, I'll overlook the fact you labelled Muggle fairy tales as simple. I'll go get the book right away when we return to the castle. Here you go. There are about 12 different tales in it. I don't know if they're popular in Britain as well, but Muggle fairy tales are passed down between generations. I don't see why that should stop at national borders.
May I cast a charm so I can read it? Don't worry, the spell is reversible.
Of course, of course. Please, go ahead.
Cendrillon ou la petite pantoufle de verre? I suppose Cendrillon is a name, so I'm not sure how to translate that. But the part after that means the little glass slipper. Does that mean anything to you?
Oh, I think that one's Cinderella. She's wearing glass slippers. It's actually one of my favourite tales.
I shall choose this one then. What a peculiar tale. That was definitely not what I expected.
Oh, well, excuse me. Muggles don't have tales about narcissistic wizards cutting out their heart until it grows hair and then stabbing their designated lover. That must be such a disappointment.
You know the Warlock's hairy heart?
Sebastian lent me his copy of that book. I can return that, by the way. Calling your wizard fairy tales peculiar would be an understatement.
I didn't mean it as an insult. You Muggles have an interesting idea of magic, that's all. I mean, why would that... What is she called again? The Fairy Godmother.
Fairy godmother.
Apologies. Anyway, why would she turn a pumpkin into a magical carriage? If I understood right, there is a time limit to the charm, isn't there? So why waste time in making Cinderella ride there when she could just apparate with her?
I don't think apparition was a thing back then.
And then, her shoes. I don't understand why they have to be made of glass, but well, what bothers me more is the fit. In the end, the prince married the girl whose feet fit into the shoes perfectly, but why did she lose them in the first place then?
It's just a fairy tale, Ominous. It's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to teach you a lesson, that if you're a good girl, your fairy godmother will help you out of your misery and find you a husband.
Well, Cinderella didn't ask for a husband. All she asked for was a pretty dress and a night out.
I never thought of it that way. You can discuss that in your essay. Isn't that every girl's dream? I wish I had a godmother like that too, after all. Would save me the stress of finding a dress for the Yule Ball.
Still, I think it is quite weird. What kind of spell did she use anyway? What's the incantation?
You're giving this a lot of thought. Muggle studies really must be your favourite subject, huh?
I'm finding it quite fascinating. Your kin's inventiveness never ceases to surprise me.
Glad we can contribute to your fascination. How's the essay going?
Nearly done. You can have your book back now. Thank you for helping out again.
Anytime, Ominous. You can keep the book, though, if you want to. I don't think I can come up with a translation spell anytime soon, so I can't read it anyway.
I could try to translate some of the tales for you. I can't promise it will make much sense, since my knowledge of the French language is more than incomplete. But it is what I can offer in return for your efforts of helping me.
Yeah. I mean, only if you can spare the time. You don't have to.
I want to, but like I said, I can't promise too much. I'd like to try, though. For you.
I'm sure you're selling yourself short, as always. From what you read out earlier, your French sounds flawless.
You can tell that from hearing me say a single line.
Say something else, then. Just anything. I shall be the judge of it.
All right, then. Je ne souhaite rien de plus que de pouvoir te dire tous les secrets qui me hantent.
Like I said, flawless.